Let's take a look at some of the projects that are going on here around the Epic Mini Life townhouse. Behind me you can see 2 garden boxes that are completely empty. That gets taken care of tomorrow, and that'll be a whole separate video. There's a pile of shrubs here, a tree from our neighbor's yard down the way. I went and recovered that, went and bought a little chainsaw to take care of that. Behind me over here, you can see a pallet that is going to be destroyed and harvested like that wood back there. Also back here, you'll see 2 other pallets against the wall. Those will also be harvested for project wood. Then you may have also noticed a cattle panel or 2 here. That will become a trellis for our garden boxes here, so that we can have things like squash and tomatoes and all those growing between those 2 boxes. It'll be beautiful. You'll notice a little bit further in the back there's cardboard on the ground with 2x4s and bricks holding it in place. What'll happen there is we're going to have wood chips put on that space, and hopefully all of that will compost and then turn into some really nice soil. You'll see right around the corner there's a pool. We'll get back to that in a minute. Behind me this direction is an old grill. Now the thing works perfectly, but it is unsightly. So one of the projects that I have here is to take that pallet wood over my left shoulder and build a really nice base around that grill so that is a little bit more visually appealing, and it'll be a fun little project to do. There is a window. I have a total of 9 windows now that will turn into our greenhouse, which will be up in the front of the house. I'll show you here in just a second. In fact, let me spin around here. This little fence right here, we're going to take one of the panels out of that and build a greenhouse out of windows on the other side, so it'll face into the front yard. That's going to be a lot of fun, another big project. So we move on from gardening over to this other fun little project that we had going on here. This is our Stockpole Pond. It's 9 feet in diameter, and it holds about 1,000 gallons of water. Now, this isn't something that we ever imagined that we would be doing. We had a pool before and swore that we would never do this again, but it is small and it's perfectly manageable. The beautiful thing was this entire thing, including the pump and all of the filtering and all that stuff, was $200. We found this deal on Craigslist and it was insane. Almost too good to pass up. That's $600 worth of filtering equipment right there alone. So what a fun project. We've got some more things going on with that I'll share with you later on. This area right here, we're actually going to keep for grass. We have 2 dogs. I had them out here just a little bit ago, but we're going to go ahead and keep this grass and try to maintain it as best we can. It's a hot, hot summer here in Texas. It's already been up over 105 real degrees with a heat index of 110. But, you know, I water this thing every single night and it tends to look really good. There's some weeds in here and things like that, crabgrass, but I'm not terribly concerned about that. It's just for dogs. We don't really care about the show of it. It's a great place for them to come when it's nice and sunny out. They lay in it and play, and the best thing of all is they come inside and they don't have muddy feet. This is the 16 by 3 raised bed garden box that I built here. It's just simple 2 by 12s all screwed together. Not a work of craftsmanship, but of utility, and so that's going to do really well for us. I think both of these. The dirt actually arrives tomorrow to fill these things up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use these shrubs and bushes as a bottom layer inside of these boxes. Hopefully what that'll do is it'll give us a really neat way to maintain some of the moisture. Like I mentioned, it gets really hot here in Texas. We're in zone 8A, and so a lot of the summer is just really hot and just dry. So I want to be able to keep as much of the moisture as I can inside of there. We are going to put a layer of plastic inside of here. It's a 6mm plastic. It's clear, just to help us out there too. So now we're going to walk into the garage. This is of all things a super project dense area, so be prepared. This is free from Craigslist. It's really turned into this neat little project of disassembling them. I built this little makeshift table over here to use as a workbench, but this is the quality of wood that's coming off there. It's just cheap store-bought 2x4s that were cut into these nice little 12-inch or ish pieces. I've got a project in mind for those, so this is just a free harvest project that I've done here. Then my wife is also a crafter, and so she's found some really great uses for this linen here, this blue linen. There's two different kinds there. And then the other piece is the tabletops here that that we'll be able to use in our greenhouse as soon as that's built. So I'm pretty excited about that. This table, the tabletop is this nice wire mesh right here. And then also there's a bottom, and then we've got a third panel that's back behind over here that were given to us. We did a post on my Facebook and was able to secure some of those wire racks. It was pretty cool. They're our favorite. You can see that they're over here as well. They hold up all of our storage needs right now. It's kind of a mess. You know, it's a garage, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Hopefully we can get those cleaned up though. Before I was talking about our greenhouse project. So right here you'll see that here are a bunch of windows. There's another window over here that was able to be rescued from a house up in Grapevine. They were remodeling an older home, and so we were able to go up and grab those for free. All of these windows were free. We haven't paid for a single one. This is the only one with damage, so we'll just have to figure out how to address that. But this is going to be a great little project for a greenhouse. Now, the pink elephant you'll see here is is all of this cardboard. So my plan for this cardboard is to put this all down, take all the tape off, of course, and as much of the goop and yuck as we can off of it. And then what we'll do is we'll use that as a base or a foundation for the front yard. Now, we haven't looked at the front yard just yet, but I'll walk you around there in just a minute. So we're gonna do something similar as I'm doing with the garden beds. We're gonna take that cardboard, we're gonna lay it down in a neat shape. I think you'll all appreciate the shape once we reveal what it is. But we're gonna put that cardboard down in a shape, then we're gonna put some logs and some brush and shrubs and things on it, and then we'll layer it with wood chips and some dirt, and we'll have kind of a makeshift hugelkultur, kind of a mound to plant things in front. And then we're also gonna plant trees and some berry bushes and things like that out front. So it's really gonna be super cool looking, and also provide some food and some sustenance for the family here. Not only do we have pallets in the backyard, but I was actually able to rescue and recover some of these pallets. These are server box pallets, so they're going to be an interesting project to take apart. But I was able to get these from Raytheon. They were also $0. There's some good project wood in there, I think. We'll see. It's plywood, not your typical panel or project pallet, but we'll see how that works out. If you've been following us, you'll know that we were RVers for 3 years. We did it full time, and it was just a wonderful experience. If you look right back here in this video, you can see our RV. It's about a block away, and we're storing it for now. There are probably 10 different projects that could be done on that RV right now, but we've chosen to spend a lot of time with our home here, try to make it as comfortable and productive as possible. The RV is next though. We're going to be selling that thing pretty soon, and it needs a little bit of TLC. And talking about projects, so at first glance this may look like a big pile of brush and shrubs that just needs to be taken care of and taken out. But if you look a little bit closer, you'll notice that I've been dumping our grass from mowing here. What that's done over time, this pile is probably about 1.5 years old now. And so while it is full of weeds and those kinds of things, at the very bottom layer of that is some really nice soil. And I plan to use that in our gardens and in different potting scenarios around the yard. All of this is also ours. Ours to the street over here. This whole line right here. The city has a right-of-way on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to plant some things like rosemary and some kind of bushy things that really smell good and kind of contribute to the neighborhood in a visual aesthetic. This is the front yard. Right now it's just grass. It's got some weeds in it. It's not doing a whole lot for us, but like I mentioned, that project in the backyard or in the garage where I have all the cardboard, we're just going to lay that down on top of this grass, and we're going to lay down some bushes and or sorry, some shrubs and some limbs and things like that. And we're going to build a nice little pattern out here in the front yard. We'll keep it nice and moist and watered and what have you. But what we really want to do is turn this whole front yard into a forest, a food forest. We want to grow trees, and we want to grow bushes and shrubs and vines and whatever we can out here to help. So this is our front door. This is where we're going to build the greenhouse. You can see there's already a line there. There were some bricks. If you noticed them in the backyard, the white bricks that were there, those actually used to be buried in this line here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take out one of those panels and then build a greenhouse out to this area right here. So you'll notice lots of sun right here. I don't know where the sun is. Yeah, it's up there now. But this thing gets sun for most of the day, probably until about 3 o'clock or so. And then it goes behind our wall back here, behind our house, and this all becomes shaded. So it doesn't take direct heat all day long, but it takes it in the morning, and that'll be very beneficial. One of the other projects that I have that I want to do before we do that greenhouse, you can see that there's an old tree stump here. And if you step on this, it's just really soft and really great soil underneath there from the tree that's just been rotting underneath the soil. So I'm gonna get in there and pull all that out and see if we can use that in some way in the garden. So that's it. That's pretty much the tour. This is a very interesting neighborhood. We're a mile south of downtown Dallas, and it's a great little neighborhood. Lots of really fun neighbors. There are some things that we could improve, and I think they will over time as we get more and more residents here in the area. You'll notice that next to us over here, you can kind of see right back here, those are 5 relatively new townhouses right down this street. There are a whole bunch more coming in, and I think part of the fun of this entire project for us is the fact that we're able to do all of this growing and have all of these gardens and all this stuff right here within a mile south of downtown Dallas. So hopefully you'll enjoy the ride while we build these things out. You know, I almost forgot to include this project. This armoire here was a free Craigslist find. Heather's job is to recover, actually resurface this thing so it can withstand a little bit of outdoor exposure. And we're going to use it as pool supplies and like towels and maybe some hanging chairs and stuff in there for use outside. So that's it for now. It's hotter than heck out here, and I think I've got some things to do around here. I've got some code to write for my company. I do still run a startup. It's called inboundgeo.com. And so on top of all of these projects that we've got while we're trying to build this little urban backyard, urban food forest, I do still have a company to run too. So I'm gonna get back to it, and we'll catch up soon. Thanks for watching. Hey, we're thrilled you made it to the end of the video. Please hit that subscribe button. It'll let us know that we're on the right track and that you're liking the content. Thank you.